consequences of the conflict in the Middle East are still difficult to predict with any precision. It seems to me that those who are involved in the conflict, they themselves cannot predict anything. But for us, it is even more difficult. But nevertheless, we must live in the conditions in which the indicated events are taking place. The current serving president of the Russian Federation, His Excellency Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. Esteemed colleagues, dear Alexander Nikolaevich, friends, I would like to welcome all participants and guests of the 35th Congress of the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs. This event traditionally brings together owners and leaders of the largest domestic companies and, of course, attracts the attention of the entire business community of the country. Trust-based, thorough cooperation between the state and business is especially important today, when the level of uncertainty and even stress has sharply increased in global markets around the world. The consequences of the conflict in the Middle East are still difficult to predict with any accuracy. It seems to me that even those involved in the conflict themselves cannot predict anything. But for us, it is even more difficult. Nevertheless, we must live under the conditions in which these events are taking place. Indeed, there are already assessments suggesting that these events can be compared to the coronavirus epidemic, which, I remind you, sharply slowed the development of all regions and continents without exception. It is no coincidence that a parallel has now been drawn with the recent epidemic. The events that the global community has faced in the past several years show that significant upheavals in trade, investment, and international relations as a whole are occurring more and more frequently, becoming the unavoidable new reality of our time, and accompanying the fundamental transition of the entire global economy to a completely new state. In order to respond to the challenges of our time, what must Russia be? Strong. We talk about this face to face with you all the time. And united in our understanding of our national interests in addressing the current tasks before us as we strive to achieve our strategic development goals. Despite objective difficulties and the artificial restrictions imposed against our country, we have managed to maintain macroeconomic stability and achieve a steady and predictable trend in inflation and unemployment. Together with the business and entrepreneurial community, we are working to ensure economic growth and address social issues. Taking this opportunity, I would like to thank the members of the RSPP as well as the teams of your companies and enterprises for your significant daily contribution to strengthening Russia's potential and for your assistance in the development of the regions. And of course for supporting our men, our heroes, participants in the special military operation and their families. I know that many of you are involved in this and keep this issue under constant attention. Thank you very much for your contribution to the economic revival of Donbass and Novorossiya. And I want to emphasize once again, it is precisely this kind of partnership that is necessary to respond to the extraordinary challenges we face today. Now, as we see that the prices of our traditional exports are steadily rising, those very same traditional exports, but at the very same time, the global markets remain highly volatile. There may be a strong temptation to take full advantage of this situation, to earn massive windfall profits, and, as they often say, simply squander them, spending them all on dividends. Or, in the specific case of the state, there is a temptation to artificially inflate budget expenditures and overall budget spending. I have already said this in a public forum, and I want to reiterate and emphasize it once more here in this gathering. We truly need to remain prudent. If today the markets swing one way, tomorrow they may shift in the other direction. It is important to maintain the course of steady development for the country to increase the competitiveness of the domestic economy and to strengthen the positions of domestic enterprises and companies both in foreign and domestic markets. To achieve this, it is necessary to strengthen our own sovereignty. I think by now, absolutely no one can harbor any doubts whatsoever about what true sovereignty really means in the modern world, what it is actually worth, and what devastating consequences arise for those countries that once voluntarily gave up their sovereignty, believing that life would be significantly calmer, much more cost-effective, and that it would be possible to create much better conditions for development, including for the economy and the social sphere. No, the world works fundamentally differently. Without sovereignty, it is absolutely impossible to adequately protect your most fundamental interests. In today's world, those who invest in technological innovation and constantly work to improve their efficiency at a fundamentally new level are successful in global markets. Alexander Nikolaevich also just mentioned these areas. I will also say a couple of words about this now. We will continue to encourage businesses to invest in the modernization of enterprises and production facilities based on our own technological foundation. We will especially support the implementation of solutions in 3 key cross-cutting technologies. These are artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, and digital platforms. There is room for cooperation in this work with foreign partners and foreign countries, including those from rapidly growing regions of the world, the Asia-Pacific region and the south of Eurasia. We plan to develop such cooperation, this was also mentioned just now, primarily through BRICS. To increase investment and expand the space for business initiatives, we will continue to reduce costs for enterprises and organizations, eliminate administrative barriers, which we constantly talk about, including through the use of electronic services. I have repeatedly spoken about Russia's progress in international business rankings. Moreover, these are not just expert assessments, but also the opinions of the entrepreneurs themselves, how convenient it is to develop their business in Russia and operate in our markets. Still, we must constantly improve the business environment, and we approach this work systematically, involving the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs and similar groups. Russia is a country with a rich history, and always, at all times, the key to confident progress has been the unity of our society and our joint, diligent work to make the country stronger, more resilient, and more powerful in terms of economic potential. We need not only large-scale projects that are significant for entire industries to be launched in Russia's economy, but also small yet important initiatives. This is so that business owners, company leaders, and their entire workforces can see long-term prospects for their work, remain fully open to technological innovations and encourage their implementation, and are better able to compete both in the domestic market and abroad. Together with you, we will do everything within our power to address these tasks, to achieve significant success and progress in developing our domestic economy, and therefore in developing our entire country. I want to thank you for your hard work. Please convey my warmest best wishes, sincere regards, and words of gratitude to your teams. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. I would like to congratulate Alexander Nikolaevich on his re-election. We meet with him regularly. He is working hard, earning your trust. When I met with Vladimir Vladimirovich, I said, for another 5 years, I'll be bothering him. Thank you very much. Thank you.